It was a typical day, filled with the hustle and bustle of students, professors, and staff going about their business. Among them was Sarah, a sophomore majoring in English literature. Today would be a day she wouldn't soon forget. As Sarah made her way to her first class, she could not help but admire the beauty of the campus. Despite the early hour, students were already out and about chatting with friends or rushing to make it to class on time. Sarah's first class of the day was American literature, taught by Professor Thompson. She took her usual seat near the front of the lecture hall and pulled out her notebook and pen, ready to take notes. Professor Thompson was a dynamic lecturer known for his passionate discussions on the works of great American writers such as Mark Twain and Ernest Hemingway. Today's topic was The Great Gatsby, one of Sarah's favorite novels. As Professor Thompson delved into the theme and symbolism of the book, Sarah found herself captivated by his words. She scribbled furiously in her notebook, eager to capture every insight he shared. Before she knew it, the class had flown by, leaving her with a renewed appreciation for the power of literature. After American literature, Sarah had a break before her next class. She decided to head to the campus cafe to grab a cup of coffee and catch up on some reading for her other courses. Sarah found a cozy corner table by the window and settled in with her book. Lost in the world of Victorian literature, Sarah barely noticed the time passing. It wasn't until her stomach rumbled loudly that she realized she had been reading for over an hour. She glanced at her watch and realized she only had 10 minutes to make it to her next class, Shakespearean tragedies. She quickly gathered her things and hurried out of the cafe, waving through the throngs of students rushing to their own classes. Sarah made it to the lecture hall just in time, breathless but relieved. Professor Ramirez, a renowned Shakespeare scholar, was already at the front of the room, setting up his slides for today's discussion on Hamlet. Sarah took her seat and listened intently as Professor Ramirez dissected the complexity of the play, exploring its themes of revenge, madness, and morality. As the class came to an end, Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She had always been drawn to the works of Shakespeare, and Professor Ramirez's passion for the subject only deepened her appreciation. With a spring in her step, she gathered her belongings and headed out of the lecture hall, ready to tackle the rest of her day. After Shakespearean tragedies, Sarah had a meeting with her academic advisor to discuss her course schedule for the next semester. She had been contemplating adding a minor in creative writing and wanted to get her advisor's input. They spent the next hour going over her options, weighing the pros and cons of each course. By the time the meeting was over, Sarah felt confident in her decision to pursue the minor. She couldn't wait to explore her passion for writing further and develop her skills as a storyteller. With her schedule for next semester sorted, she headed back to her dorm to grab a quick bite to eat before her last class of the day. Her final class was a seminar on modern poetry, taught by Professor Chang. The seminar was small, with only a handful of students enrolled, which allowed for more intimate discussions and debates. Today's topic was the works of Sylvia Plath, and Sarah was eager to share her thoughts on the poet's hauntingly beautiful verses. At the class discussed Plath's use of imagery and symbolism, Sarah found herself engaged in a lively debate with her classmates. They debated the meaning behind her most famous poems, From Daddy to Lady Lazarus, each offering their own interpretation of the words on the page. It was a stimulating discussion that left Sarah feeling inspired and invigorated. As the sun began to set on Riverside University, Sarah made her way back to her dorm, reflecting on the events of the day. It had been a day filled with intellectual stimulation, lively discussions, and moments of inspiration. She felt grateful to be a part of such a vibrant academic community where her love for literature and learning could flourish. As she settled into bed that night, Sarah couldn't help but feel excited for the days ahead. She knew that her time at Riverside University would continue to shape her in ways she couldn't yet imagine. And she was eager to see where her journey would take her. With a contented sigh, she closed her eyes, ready to rest and recharge for whatever adventures tomorrow might bring.